Welcome to another episode of Inside My Mind, and this time I still don't have the magical microphone plugged into my phone. I will try and find it today, but this episode is coming from my new second-hand car. So I'm very excited. It is a Toyota Aqua hybrid, so hopefully a little bit more quiet, and also it has air conditioning. So I don't have to drive along with the windows open, which does make for a slightly poorer sound quality recording. Anyway, so gosh, what is on my mind? Well, safety in the neighbourhood. My goodness. It's a little unnerving. This morning I had a knock on the door from two fellows, and they live around the corner from me. And the night before last, they had two electric scooters stolen from on their property. So they were sort of out of sight, not locked away. And they said that pretty much whoever took them would have had to know they're there, or have watched them travel home. Anyway, they were walking around trying to find who has security cameras. And obviously they saw that we do, but I've been through the footage and my cameras haven't triggered anything untoward. They're just kind of set to be quite specific to my property, rather than they'd be pinging all the time if it pinged every car that went past, for example. So yeah, but that's somewhat unnerving. And then I'm sure the guys are fully legit. I'm sure they are, but just a tiny, tiny little ounce in the back of my mind was thinking, are they checking out the houses with the security cameras to see if they work? Anyway, I'm sure not. And so the dogs barked when they were outside the house, before they knocked on the door. But while I was chatting to them, the dogs were pretty chill. They were in the other room. But yeah, I trust my doggies' instincts to know who's good, who's not good. So anyway, that's on my mind. And do you know what else is on my mind? All this thing about petrol prices and stuff. Well, I'm feeling more optimistic because New Zealand seems to have had a delivery of diesel and petrol, which was, I've been following fuelclock.co.nz or whatever it is, which I'm not saying is inaccurate, but I am feeling more optimistic now that perhaps it doesn't have the full picture, because sorry, I just drove past and there are two scooters on the pavement and I was like, oh my God, maybe they're the guys. Anyway, yeah, because all of a sudden, and it was not alluded to on the Fuel Clock website, but all of a sudden we've had deliveries of fuel to boost us up like another week or so. And I think having like 22 days supply in the country is actually not too far away from normal. And, so I'm feeling more confident. So I guess I want to do some research, some reading about, really, is the situation continuing to damage industry in Asia? And what I'm thinking about with that is basically anything plastic. Because so we might end up with some fuel to run our cars and our infrastructure, which is brilliant, but it is going to have a knock-on effect to consumers and the everyday person if there's a massive reduction in plastic manufacturing in the world. So maybe I do still need to stock up on shampoo and toothpaste and anything else that comes in plastic. Do you know what I'm thinking really is, I think honesty is the best policy, and I think everyone with half a brain cell can sense that there's more to the story than we're being told in New Zealand. And that causes stress. And I think that the government need to be aware of that. And they're obviously, one would hope, working behind the scenes in a significant way to prevent any troublesome outcomes for us. But I just really wish they would tell us what they're doing, because it's really stressful not knowing. So that's my criticism. Anyway, I've got to stop now because I've got to try and reverse park on a slope, which is quite tricky. Goodness me. Well, luckily there's no one in the disabled spot. Let's turn that off.